Next up, we stay with Rotax. It's time for Intermax 950.
Intermax 950 has been the real estate belonging to two drivers. Leo Livings and Max Jolly have duked it out. You can't discount Ryan White as well because he's been in there. Just hasn't had enough to get on terms with Jolly and Livings. The grid looks like this, though. Synergy's Leo Livings on the pole position from Hunter Motorsports, Max Jolly. Project One's Ryan White in third with Oliver Barton alongside. Who's that? LCR is Oliver Barton, isn't it? On the 165. And then behind them on the third row, Soren Gallagher and Lewis Stewart. We've then got Blair Smith and Thomas Jackson carrying an A plate. I'll ask you about that in a moment. Row 5 is Oscar Roach and Jackson Hilton with Logan Stanley Jones and Hugo McCluskey on row 6. Row 7 is Ella Dixon and Eli Rideout. And then we've got the two bats, the two novice drivers, rounding off the 16 cart field, Hakeem and Adam Batt on the 8th row of the grid. So, the A plate being carried by Thomas Jackson.
Yes, that's the Association of Scottish Kart Club champion. Now
that was too much to put on a number plate, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly was. We've got S plates for the Scottish champion. That is a one-off meeting that is held annually at Lark Hall. The A plate, the Association of Scottish Kart Club champions, is a championship that I think is held at 4 different tracks throughout Scotland. Points accumulated from those events give you the A plate. Thomas Jackson, having won it into 950 this year, adds to the Honda one that he won last year that he wasn't able to run the A plate because he moved up immediately after winning it. But now races that A plate. He'll be going off the outside of row number 4 in 8th place.
Yeah, great to have drivers down from Scotland competing here at Warden Law. It's not as big a drive as it is for them to get to places like PF and Fullbeck, is it? Great to have them.
Ryan White's nearest track, from what his dad always said, nearest track in the UK, I think he tells me, is Warden Law, because they're from Scotland as well.
They're based, I mean, I know they're from the northeast of England, but Paul works in Aberdeen, I think, and their nearest track down from Aberdeen is this one. Another 2 laps for these karts before we go green. And this gives the drivers a chance to get some heat into those tyres. Don't forget, we've got the third of the Winter Series events ran by the Kart Championship happening at Three Sisters, the 6th and 7th of December. I think that's that weekend. Get your entries in very, very quickly for that. We'll be announcing some slight tyre regulation changes. I'm sure everybody will be delighted to hear. We've got more of that coming as we get going. And just to remind everybody, keep the chat coming on the YouTube channels. Any questions that you might ask, we'll try and answer. If we don't answer them, we probably know people who can. So keep the chat coming on the Karting Live TV YouTube channel as we get towards the final stages of this Winter Series event. And while we've got time, David, I don't know what you were going to say there, by the way, but keep it in your head. We haven't mentioned the Autumn Cup for a little bit. The Autumn Cup is a Warden Law Car Club award given to the drivers in each class, one driver in each class, who's accrued the most points across both heats, the super heat and the final. Yeah,
I was going to say, we are gridding up to go because it's juniors and seniors only that are getting the 2-lap warm-up provision.
That would have caught us out.
We are going to go racing, hopefully, at the first time of asking. Into the tram lines we go. Lights go out, do they? No, they don't. We've got a false start. And Joe and I can continue to provide more filling than Mr. Kipling for around about another minute and a half.
Maybe because it's Intermax that I thought they're bound to not get the first start right. They never do.
Eager beavers, aren't they? They just get out the corner, get the power down, away they go.
Yeah. The Autumn Cup here at Warden Law has been an event that we've run here in November for the last couple of seasons. And we thought it was a good idea to amalgamate the Autumn Cup with the Kart Championship Winter Series. It's another piece of silverware, slightly different qualification for it, though. It's an accumulation of all the points that you rack up across the whole of the race, all 4 races, your 2 heats, your super heat, and your final. And whoever's got the most points out of all of those 4 will indeed take home the silverware for the Warden Law Car Club Autumn Cup.
Right, Leo Livings for Synergy on the pole position. Max Jolly for Hunter Motorsport alongside Ryan White, Project One in third place. Oliver Barton, LCR, Luke Christie Racing in fourth place. Let's see who wins this one. It's been very, very tight throughout between Leo Livings and Max Jolly. 7 to 8 points respectively. Ryan White's been perennially third, but let's see whether he can make a move into this top two.
Let's see if Project One has found anything in the toolbox to give Ryan White in the final as Leo Livings and Max Jolly lead the field away. We are green towards turn one. Leo Livings on the inside, Max Jolly on the outside. Jolly falling foul and into third. Tries to get round the outside of Leo Livings, but it's Ryan White that comes through and down the inside and will lead out of the dogleg. So it's Ryan White, Leo Livings, Max Jolly, and who's that in fourth? It's the 156.
It's Blair Smith. There's Ryan White defends off Leo Livings up towards centre one. Max Jolly looking to get a switch back on the inside, but then he's caught out ever so slightly by Blair Smith, who started 8th up into 4th for the 156. The Scotsman running well in the first lap of this Intermax 950, but for the first time, Leo Livings nor Max Jolly lead us over and up towards the timing line. Ryan White in the 147 for Project One is going to lead us over the line at the end of lap one.
Well, I asked the question, has Project One found something in the toolkit to give Ryan White for the final? They've certainly found something to get him off at the start, but it's a long, long way to go with 11 minutes of this race remaining. We know how quick Livings for Synergy in that second place in the bright yellow and blue helmet. We know how quick Max Jolly is, and there down the inside of White has gone Livings. Max Jolly tries to go with him. He sees Livings ahead of Ryan White, does Max Jolly, and he thinks very quickly, I'm going to have to get past Ryan White and not allow Leo Livings to disappear.
Absolutely not. Oscar Roach in the pink is in the background, is up into 5th. There's Max Jolly down the inside of Ryan White. Ryan White holding off then Blair Smith for 3rd place. So it's back to pretty much as we've been from the start of this race day today, with Leo Livings leading Max Jolly, Ryan White. Then it's Blair Smith, Oscar Roach in the pink helmet for RCE, closing in on this top 5 now, as he's pulled away from Oliver Barton, who's found a way past Lewis Stewart on that previous lap. Sorry, Gallagher, Jackson Hilton and Logan Jones complete your top 10.
You mentioned Lewis Stewart through in 7th place there. Audrey Stewart reports in supporting Lewis Stewart, first time racing in England, all the way from the north of Inverness. Well, I just mentioned there how great it was to have the Scottish contingent down from across the border here at Warden Law, and Lewis Stewart, one of that Scottish contingent, and enjoying his first run here in England.
Yeah, you'll be able to say hello to him as well when he finally gets back home on about Wednesday, because it's that far away. But great that they're making the effort to come down, and what they're doing at the moment is racing against some of the best Inter 950 runners in the country. Leo Livings, Max Jolly, Ryan White, your top 3.
Joshua Owen informs us LCR is Luke Christie Racing, of course. I know you knew that, David. LCR with who was that on the it was Oliver Barton, wasn't it, for LCR, Luke Christie Racing. As these 3, that's the leaders, Leo Livings, Max Jolly and Ryan White. They are playing that usual waiting game, I think, and these 3 working together. Ryan White has found something, hasn't he? Because by now we'd be dropping back off the back of Jolly and Livings.
He's normally in 3rd. It's a comfortable 3rd, because I think he's got the edge on a few of the others behind, but certainly at the moment is going with Max Jolly, and in turn it's dragging Blair Smith and Oscar Roach into what could well be a 5-cart battle. And having said that, Oliver Barton for LCR, since he's moved through on Lewis Stewart, is starting to draw himself in that 6th place towards the back of this train in front of him.
Well, it is very much a high-speed game of chess, as these 2, it's been all afternoon, have now been joined by a 3rd, Ryan White for Project One, glued to the rear bumper of Max Jolly and being able to stay in touch. And likewise, Jolly and Livings circulating together. 8 minutes remaining, plenty of time for any of these drivers. Once these drivers start to make moves on one another, that's when they start slowing their lap times down. That's what brings other karts in, and Blair Smith and Oscar Roach just waiting there patiently, as down the inside has gone Roach on Blair Smith. The pink helmet of Blair Smith making that move, textbook-like move, and has made that stick.
Great move by Oscar Roach, and then he decides to run Blair Smith out wide to make sure that he holds on to that 4th place. And as we said a few moments ago that Ryan White was sticking with the top 2, it looks like he has fallen away by a few kart lengths at the moment. He'll be wanting desperately for Max Jolly to send a move down the inside of Leo Livings around about now into hairpin 1, but Max Jolly is not close enough to challenge the 177 Synergy driver there with the yellow helmet with blue on the top of Leo Livings.
Now they're beginning to just eke out a little bit of a gap to 3rd place Ryan White. Ryan White there, 3rd kart in that picture as Leo Livings and Max Jolly. They've been pretty dominant, the pair of them, in this class all weekend here. And Ryan White will have to compose himself, start putting in some quick laps. Max Jolly had the fastest lap last time by. Not quite this time, 53.13 as he goes down the inside. Didn't need the fastest lap to get momentum on the straight, did he? And into the lead at turn 1. He maintained that lead through the dogleg. And look at that, straight back onto it. Ryan White has closed back up.
Super slipstream from Max Jolly. He came out late at hairpin number 1 to come through on Leo Livings. And just that one overtake, as clean as it was, has allowed Ryan White to get right back into the mix here as the top 3 return to running nose to tail.
Max Jolly knows where to defend at Warden Law. However, it's a bit early in the day for defensive white line driving. It's 6 minutes on the clock, so we are just at the half distance. So it is a game of chess here with these two at the front, and Ryan White playing a waiting game, like you said, David. He's kind of hoping these two trip each other up. Behind these 3 as they cross the line to complete 7 laps. And there's a move down the inside for the lead again. They've been doing this all day long. Livings and Max Jolly swapping the lead backwards and forwards. It's when they swap the lead towards the checkered flags the important one, though.
Certainly is. Neither of them defending too much. They almost know that the overtake's going to come at the end of the straight. They're just keeping it nice and clean. And you do see this a lot here. You saw it a lot as well at Wilton Mill in the early phase of the race. The driver in second benefits from the slipstream. They just swap positions, slot back in. They don't lose a huge amount of time. It just keeps things all nice and tidy. But what we do know is that of the two of them, Leo Livings does prefer to be the leader when it comes to having a dance partner.
Yeah, he does. He prefers to be up there controlling the pace to a point. I say controlling the pace. They're absolutely flat chat, aren't they? They're absolutely flat chat, just eking out a little bit of momentum here and there to get on terms and maybe making a move. Max Jolly trying to get back onto the bumper now of Leo Livings, and likewise Ryan White doing likewise in 3rd place, getting onto the rear bumper of that kart in 2nd. Oscar Roach is coming in 4th there, just comes into the picture, the bright orange kart and helmet. We're about to have a 4-kart train for the lead. Livings, Jolly, White, and you can't discount Roach in the pink helmet, the pink kart, the pink overalls, I should say, the orange and white kart. They're just coming onto the back of Ryan White now, and he's going to be part of this, isn't he?
He is. He's been chipping away. A 10th here, 2 tenths there on the previous lap, and Oscar Roach, we know it's trophies for the top 5, so that's all the way down to Blair Smith in 5th place. There he is, coming out of the final corner. Radiator flap adjustment for Ryan White. Lead adjustment for Max Jolly as he slides down the inside of Leo Living. We're all changed. Ryan White's right on the back, and Oscar Roach is on the back as well.
Hard but firm driving from these drivers. Leo Livings giving a gap there that was the size of Max Jolly and his kart, and Max Jolly decided to continue down the gap and into the lead, into the second centre. Now it's Jolly looking over his shoulder. Leo Livings is still there. 3.5 minutes remaining, not quite at the 2-minute mark, but we are approaching the final quarter. If this was a game of basketball, you need to get as many baskets in the hoop as possible, getting towards the final stages then. So it's all about track position, isn't it? And I'm pretty sure that both Ryan White and Oscar Roach, as hard as they are trying to get on terms with those leaders, they just can't quite fill that gap there between the white and blue car. And there's a move for 3rd as Oscar Roach is listening, and he thinks, right, Ryan, you can't catch Livings, I'm going to have a bash at it.
Down the inside at the 9-minute mark. That would have been the last lap board in our superheat earlier on today. But we're going to have 3 extra minutes. It's 12 minutes plus 1 lap for these finals. The top 2 on camera. Max Jolly and Leo Livings now with a little bit of a gap as Oscar Roach slid down the inside of Ryan White for that third place at the first corner. The top two, though, now working together as Max Jolly leads Leo Livings. We know Livings doesn't particularly like being the chaser.
You know, a little bit of oversteer there as he turned through the middle part of the horseshoe there. Livings back in, and you can see there he's just dropped back about a cart's length, not in a position to come by as they turn into turn one. Absolutely flat chat there, hardly any speed difference. Flat out through Brian's Bend, already into the dog leg. Out of there, Max Jolly looking composed, Leo Livings looking equally as composed in second, and these two, by working together, they've dropped Oscar Roach and Ryan White. These two want to have it together going towards the final couple of laps of this one, and they've worked really well. Leo Livings didn't panic, did he, when Max Jolly overtook him? He sat in his wheel tracks, using the full slipstream down the inside at the gasworks, getting very, very aggressive driving there from Livings, but he's made the move. A little bit of wheel banging went on mid-corner there, David.
Yeah, super move, though, by Leo Livings. Saw the gap open up there. Max Jolly didn't defend, and Leo Livings slid it down the inside, side pod to side pod by the 177. Great move by Livings, and he leads Max Jolly once again. These two swapping places in what has been a shuffle throughout this entire race between the top two.
We have got less than a minute remaining, though, so it's going to be 2 more laps after this one as Jolly comes down the inside at the second of the centre hairpins. The radiator flap goes up on Livings' radiator. He's just managing incredible brain capacity as he allowed Max Jolly down the inside. Incredible brain capacity to monitor his engine temp and then lift the panel on the radiator as he continued to manoeuvre the kart into second place behind Jolly. Here they come. It will be the penultimate lap, this one, David, and then the last lap board next time by.
We caught it on the back of the camera as well. A change for fourth place as Blair Smith came down the inside of Ryan White. Ryan White's early race pace, I can only believe, was down to an increase in tyre pressure to try and get him to jump Max Jolly and Leo Livings, because now he's starting to fall down the order into P5. This is your top two, though. As the timer elapses down to 0, they'll be greeted by the last lap board at the end of this lap. Max Jolly, Leo Livings. It could be either of them. It could be Oscar Roach, because let's not kid ourselves. These two could easily trip each other up.
And it was very aggressive at this part, but Max Jolly defends. Kart sleuthing from left to right on the brakes there. Jolly defending really strongly. Livings showed his cards the previous lap by sliding down the inside. Jolly will want to get maximum speed out onto the start-finish straight for the last time. He goes down the right-hand side of the track, watches where Livings is. Livings down the inside, does he? No, not quite. Almost nudging the back end. And as you said, David, here comes the pink helmet of Oscar Roach. It's a 3-card battle on this last lap.
These two are not going to know that Oscar Roach is there. That's going to be the surprise package. There's Oscar Roach in the 196 as Max Jolly goes left. Squeezes Leo Livings back to the side of the circuit as the 177. And then Max Jolly hits the brakes. And here comes Roach.
He got hit. He got hit by Livings as they came out of the second centre. As we head on towards the gasworks, you called it, David. Oscar Roach has reaped the benefits. He's picked up and he's on the grass. Can he on to it? Livings forces the order and forces his way into third place. There has come Blair Smith. Kart's connecting, Kart's pushing. I'm not sure how Dan Ashton's going to sort that one out, but right now we've got Leo Livings taking the flag for Synergy in first place. Oscar Roach almost won that, and there, as they come into the corner, Max Jolly gets a bit of a nudge, pushes him out the way. That allowed Oscar Roach into the lead at the chicane, but it all then went south at the gasworks.
We see that very, very differently, Joe. I think Max Jolly there has tried to balk the exit of the two karts behind him by going into the right-hander at centre, tapping the brake to get the run out. He's got good momentum there. I think he's braked, and that's why Livings has gone through the back of him. We're going to see that very differently. Our opinions, though, don't matter.